You're listening to Uncovered Radio with Dr. Laura Berman, and I am joined, as you can see, by the beautiful Rachel Hunter. You know, supermodel is what most people know you as, you know, and you have been for,
oh my God, 30 years.
30 years has had that title, and now has continued to develop as a human being and as a woman and in the work that you're doing in the world. So we are going to dive into some of your lesser known but equally important pursuits. We met, you know, you're probably, I met you before you met me, because I remember when I first divorced my ex-husband 20 years ago or something, and I moved to LA with my little boy, and I enrolled him in the lab school. He's now 22. I enrolled him in the lab school at UCLA.
Yeah.
And I was sort of like a pariah. I couldn't make any friends. The women, because nobody back then with kids in preschool were single. They were all in relationships. I don't know why, but I was somehow like the single mom, and none of them like wanted to hang out with me other than maybe on the playground. And I felt really isolated. And I remember seeing you, and I think your kids were in a different grade, but I recognized you because, you know, I had seen many pictures of you and knew you as a model. But what I noticed about you is that you were clearly a single mom. And at the time, and we're doing stuff with your kids and showing up at the school and doing all the things that I was feeling so inhibited and intimidated to do. And so you, unbeknownst to you, were like, I was like, if she can do it, I can do it too. Screw them. You know, I was sort of, but I really did find it hard. And now when I have friends in that position, because, you know, most parents are together when the kids are that small, I say to my friends, like, don't worry, you won't, by the time your kid is in third grade, you will be in the majority, as sad as that is.
Yeah.
But
I know. I mean, it's definitely, I mean, the whole relationships, as you more than anybody knows, it's the whole dynamics of love and relationships is changing.
Yes.
Like fast.
So how long have you been single?
I have been single, what do we class as single? Like not in a relationship?
You don't have to be married or not married, but not in a serious monogamy. Well, if you believe in monogamy, but if you don't, then just in a serious relationship.
Since 2011,
you've been not in one.
Yeah.
And is that by choice because you're kind of focusing on other things and sort of put that to the side, or?
It's not any choice. It's just the way things have. I get really annoyed by the word things. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Is it not specific enough?
Yeah, it doesn't identify things as very.
Yeah, abstract.
Anyway, it's. Anyway, we'll get over that. I will get over that. No, it wasn't. It was no choice. It was more the way it just happened and has flowed. And it's not to say there haven't been people that I have, you know, been with or any, you know, as far as relating to men. But it's just been the way. And, you know, when I look back, I've always been in relationships.
Yeah.
Always been in relationships until that moment. And, you know, I guess, you know, I could be the classic, you know, when you go back and look at that time that, you know, I broke up around 2010 and I was meant to be getting married and that fell through. And there was all this kind of turbulence.
And turmoil.
Yeah. But in actual fact, it's just the way it is.
Looking back, are you glad that didn't work?
Oh, my God. I always am very thankful for that because something bigger is going, this isn't going to work. So either we're going to go through this for the next 10, 15 years and then there's going to be a child and there's going to be other things happening, or you're going to listen to the warning signs now and move on. So I really think, to be honest with you, that we immediately, well, I can only speak for myself. There's an attachment of story, an attachment of drama, an attachment of analyzing.
Yes.
Instead of just realizing that that's just the way it is.
Yeah. And we try to and because you've invested all this time. And,
you want the drama and the ego just gets.
It is addictive. It is addictive.
It gets out of control. Yeah. And then we've got, you know, this person, or you've got that person, and then no, you need to have that, that person will look after you for that. And then if you get this crystal, that's going to help this and this. So then all of that becomes external. So then we think external things are going to actually treat us.
So I see what you're saying.
So not on top of the external of just normal thinking of the flow of your own life, but then
we give our power away to other things. And rather than just, I think what you're saying is rather than just like honoring, being attuned enough to recognize the signs and not let our fear get in the way of following them versus working so hard with all these things to fit a, square peg into what is now a round hole.
Yeah. And I think those processes externally are important, but at the same time there needs to be a stability and stable foundation of the being. Now that is relative to, say, you take the flow of water, and you take, you're at the top of the, and you look at the flow, it goes round, there's stillness,
and there are rocks
there's waterfalls,
and blocks,
there's the swirling. So, I mean, one throw of a rock from somewhere else that causes turmoil, but then there's a release. So, I mean, I think that
you have to be able to flow together. You have to be able to flow around the rocks.
And that's going to be hard sometimes, and it's going to be beautiful sometimes.
Well, that's what I always say, is that it's easy to have a good relationship when there aren't a lot of rocks in the water, and a lot of things to navigate around. But as soon as there is stress, as soon as there are external forces, as soon as there's illness or any kind of crisis, that's when you start to see how well you can flow together. So have you not, because I obviously talk about love all the time. You obviously are not I'm not saying, like, I think you have in spite of being beautiful and sexy, you also have sort of an energetic barrier up where I could imagine people don't come on to you very often as they would like to.
Yeah, I think that it's more where I am right now too, because there's never been an energetic barrier, I would say, and
you're just
then
not
my
open to
vocab would be like, oh, but nobody comes up to me.
Right, that's
so,
what I'm saying.
So then,
Right, I skipped ahead.
But,
because I know nobody comes up to you.
Yeah.
But the reason is because of the barrier.
And I think that is happening because it's happening.
It's supposed to be happening.
Yeah. And I when I realistically look at where I am in my life, would that fit in? Probably not right now.
Why not? Not that you need to fit it
but
in.
I feel like that is slightly changing.
Yeah.
I actually had a really interesting dream last night.
Really?
Yeah, that kind of lent itself to that. Nothing.
What was
nothing
the dream?
Sexual.
I know.
It was more the essence of something coming in, but it was. Yeah.
That's okay. Don't worry.
That was not my head. Yeah. Dang. Yeah, because love is, I went after Mum passed away because I looked after her and it was very, very rapid.
Yeah. Wait, hold that thought, because when we come back, I want to talk about, because I think these two things, we're talking about love with a supermodel who is gorgeous and has been single kind of by choice and by circumstance, not by active intention, but just by circumstance.
Trust me, I love them.
Right. But I think it's really important because there's so many people out there that are looking for love and feel like it's not happening for them because they're not enough, right? Here is someone, at least, visually is more than enough. And I know your heart is also more than enough, but that our journeys are different and go in different trajectories for different reasons. And that the death of your mother, like the death of my mom, was a real point of transition for you as it was for me. So I want to talk about that when we come back on Uncovered Radio.